Good Saturday morning. Welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray on Sports 790 on this, the fourth Saturday of the month, which means that Bill Cooksey and Ron Wong are in studio. Bill is here.
That's right.
Good morning, Bill.
Morning, Larry. Morning, everybody.
And we've got some news to talk about, Bill, and Ron will be here momentarily as he gets to the station on his way, because we're going to get a lot of stuff from Ron about Lake Murray.
That's right.
And the FLW Cup over there, and Ron was a busy guy.
Yes, he was.
Well, I told him to have fun and just relax and not go overboard, but
he can't do that.
He cannot do that.
That's not his nature.
And I saw that you viewed a lot of his videos and his pictures and everything because it was good coverage.
Yes, it was.
Of who won, and of course we know that I'm not going to give away any details because Ron can tell them all, but a young man from Collierville did really good.
Very well.
Yeah, really good. And we'll let Ron talk about that. But
Mark Rose had a good tournament, just not quite good enough, but good tournament.
He had a good tournament. That was our two local connections over there. And then, of course, Bill's got a new position.
That's right.
Tell us about it, Bill.
Well, I'm the new managing editor at the Mid-South Hunting and Fishing News.
And
starting, matter of fact, today is the deadline for our September issue, so I'm in here but trying to close up a magazine.
There he goes. And, of course, all of us know that Carlton Veers and Joe Sills and all the Vern, Summerlin, all
That's
the
right.
gang. And
the whole crew over there, and, Vern's still going to be a contributor to the magazine going into the future, so we're excited about that. Just a lot of changes coming with the magazine. The main changes, though, aren't with the book that everyone's been getting for over 25 years now. We're going to really ramp up the digital side to give you more up-to-date fishing reports, more blogs, more cutting-edge stuff that a monthly magazine just can't provide.
It can't, and I know that updates on fishing, and for sure. That was always
That's
a real
right.
tough thing for Joe to put together with those fishing reports.
It's tough, and it's become a thing now where it's more of a fishing forecast.
Yeah, it is.
So what we're going to do is pull it together into more of a weekly routine on the primary lakes in the region and as many of the small lakes and rivers as we can get the information on, and try to have, now this is coming in the future, don't log on today and expect it, but we want you on Friday afternoon when you're getting ready for the weekend to be able to log on and see what's happening where you want to go fish.
Well, that sounds like the information everybody wants, because I know when I used to compile that every week in the Commercial Appeal in the old days, that was one of the most popular things. Even though you got to rely on people to give you information.
That's right.
But people like to read it who don't even fish.
Oh yeah,
you know that it really is, or used to fish, or whatever it might be.
You
guys,
I don't know the last time I fished North Alabama, but I still read the Gunnersville report.
Yeah, you do, don't you? Same with me and everything. So a great deal for Bill, and already a good job on your story on deer hunting.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
that one was a little out of left field for me.
It was,
but it was fun because I was able to approach it as a guy that I deer hunt a little bit, but I'm no deer expert. So I went into it with that and said, y'all tell me. And
it was good, too. Yeah, you had some good guys on there, and I was going to send him an email, but I thought I'd just do it here. And,
well, I appreciate it.
Because we weren't ready to announce Bill's position, but I know the Mid-South Hunting and Fishing News has been part of the culture here.
Well, when I moved to Memphis in the early 90s, it was one of the first things I did was start picking it up at newsstands and then subscribe to the magazine. And moving here and not knowing many people and not really knowing where to go without going east to Jackson, where I grew up, I was able to really acclimate to the area much more quickly.
Well, the photographs and things along that line, you guys will be able to post them quickly on the website now.
Absolutely.
When somebody catches a big fish and
right now, you can throw them on our Facebook account. We're on Facebook and post your photos. We'd love to get them there and into the magazine. And we still have the program with Bass Pro where you can win a gift card
I know it. I
month.
wished I'd have thrown in a hunting picture to go for this last issue.
This time of year, the hunting photos get tough.
But it doesn't make any difference. Throw something in there because I like to look at them.
Absolutely.
And are you going to keep that mystery caption? Is that gone or is that here?
Well,
it was kind of fun.
I think what we'll probably do is,
and you don't have to break any things now.
When we get more up on the digital side, we'll bring that back.
Okay.
Input has been the hard thing with that.
I know it has been. Yeah, you got to get help from all your from your folks who read it. So
that's right.
And now into the room comes the one and only Ron Wong.
Good morning, everybody.
Got his shades on Saturday morning here. That is him. Of course,
I am ready to go.
All right. Well, we've been talking to Bill Cooksey about his new position with the Mid-South Hunting and Fishing News. And
well, I'll tell you, I'm happy about that, too. And he's going to do a great job, and I look forward to seeing all of the new stuff, the online stuff. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate that FLW coverage because we'll have a little bit of that in the next issue.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And you know, I got to tell you, the Forcewood
we're waiting on
awesome.
you. We're waiting on you to tell us about it because I know you just went over and relaxed and didn't do nothing. I know that. No, you were everywhere. Everybody tells me, is there 3 Ron Wongs? 2 is not enough. But he says there's more Wongs in the world than Smiths.
Well, I have to tell you, the morning starts at about 4 o'clock.
That's for you. For you, that's like 2 in the morning. Yeah.
That's awful early.
That's awful.
Awful early. And go out to the blast off and listen to it.
Uh-huh.
And after that, you go out on a media boat for a while, and then you come in for the weigh-in. Then you go back to the hotel room to download all of your pictures and videos and everything else. So it's about 11, 12 o'clock before you get a little nap.
A nap.
And but I have to tell you something. All of those pro anglers are pretty awesome.
Yeah. They love. They love to. They like to act. I mean, they interact with you.
They not only that. They're all so kind. But I have to tell you, to see them in action, Lake Murray fished awful tough. Those 4 days.
Oh yeah.
You know, when you only have 52 pounds to win it, and you only win by 1 ounce, it tells you. And it's a different kind of fishing. The lake is very, very big. It's over 60,000 acres, and it fishes fairly small, though.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think that the deep water fishermen, because the water temperature was in the mid-80s, would do well. But you have to fish shallow on that lake. It's very, very unique. And
what does fish small mean?
There's only certain parts of the lake,
certain areas
where you can
squeezes into these areas,
right?
Yeah.
Where you can catch the fish. For instance, the lake is over 60,000 acres. You only have 45 anglers, right?
Yeah.
You can go into an area and see 2 and 3 boats.
Wow.
Competitors together.
Yeah.
And then you go another mile and a half and you see 2 or 3 more boats. So you either fished near the dam part of the lake or you fished upriver.
And that's where the locals fish too, I guess.
Well, it's kind of funny you said that, Bill. Last day of the tournament, Anthony Gagliari goes up to his spot where he wants to start every morning, because what he's doing is fishing for breaking bass on blueback herring. That's what they eat there. And there's a, you just don't go to your spot and start casting the way as he told us. He says, you go to your spot and you wait for the bass to blow up. And you have about 7 to 8 seconds to get your cast exactly where they did, and you kind of lead it. You know how you lead a shotgun when you're going to shoot a bird or a duck or something, right? You do the same thing. You kind of anticipate which way it's going to go, and you cast out at it. Well, he got to his first spot in the morning, and there was a local fisherman
already there,
sitting right on top of where the fish were blowing up.
Oh, my.
And, the guy looked at him and says, hey, first come, first serve.
Oh,
However, it was a tough tournament.
Good for Michael Woodley and
Michael Woodley did awesome. He finished 8th place.
Yes, yeah.
And he was one of the only ones that fished deep. And when I talk about deep, 20 to 40 feet.
Yeah,
that's pretty deep.
That's pretty deep.
Yeah,
yeah.
And of course, the lake goes. The deepest parts is about 175 feet deep.
Wow.
So
okay,
it's a different kind of lake. And Michael had his pattern early in the morning: go shallow, buzzbait, frog, topwater bait. And as soon as the sun got up about 8 o'clock, out into the deep stuff for him. So he did it very, very well. Our friend across the river, Mark Rose,
yeah,
finished in 22nd place. He was on a shallow bite also. He was using what they call a double fluke rig. For bass, he was sitting on points that were only 2 to 3 feet deep on the main lake, and throwing to it. It's a very unique way of fishing, but you have to adapt. Now, what really won it for Anthony, he had last year buried a bunch of small brush piles. When I talk about small, half the size of a dining room table.
That's small.
That's small. And he put them in places upriver where you couldn't see them, you couldn't mark them, and things like that. And he actually caught some of his better fish flipping those kind of bushes. So it was a great tournament, great people, excellent expo. Go out to OLR-Outdoors.com. We're going to have a lot of pictures there. We've got a lot of videos talking about some new products that were out and some new vendors that you want to see, and it's just great stuff. Our friend at Lou's, they had an awesome booth, and they did some really good stuff. We got videos and pictures of all of it on OLR-Outdoors.com.
It's a wonderful job. I'll match it with any coverage of that.
And I got to say one thing. That's 2 times within a few weeks I've heard of some guys doing very well in tournaments by going to a place that they're planning to fish and planting their own brush. Because that's what those Bethel Bass Cats did for that college Bassmasters tournament. And I talked to Ben Parker this morning, and they drove all the way up there and put their brush piles out, and that's where they caught all their key fish.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good.
And that's something you can do at home.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to talk a lot of fishing, as you realize, on today's show, but we're going to throw in a little hunting, throw a little entertainment, because hang on out there, because the one and only Craig Morgan is going to be on Outdoors with Larry Ray just in a little while. But we're going to take our first break of the morning. Ron Wong, Bill Cooksey in studio. Justin Wood is our show producer. We'll be right back on Sports 790.
Now back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on Sports 790, talking outdoors that we do each and every Saturday morning for 90 minutes, and our 14th year on the air. And, of course, this being the 4th Saturday of the month, that means we're going to talk a lot of fishing. Ron Wong's in studio, and our good friend Bill Cooksey, now the managing editor of the Mid-South Hunting and Fishing News.
Yes, sir.
All right.
With that title, and Ron Wong straight back from Lake Murray and the Forest Wood Cup over there. And Ron,
I still haven't recovered yet, and of course,
you won't recover.
It's so hot out there.
Yeah, we got hot weather. It wasn't that bad last week. Now over there, it was it could have been this week. And
and it's funny you said that. The weather this week in Columbia, South Carolina, is going to reach 101.
Well, you're not there this week,
yeah.
So that's the main thing about it. And then this being a Saturday morning, I'm sure that this gentleman in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, knows a thing about heat and things along that line, but he knows a lot about building some of the best rods that's out there, and that's our good friend John Beckwith. He's the founder of Falcon Rods. Good morning, John.
Yeah, good morning, Larry.
Great to have you on the show, buddy, and I know this is 20 years for the lowrider.
Yeah.
We were both young then, so at least younger, so to speak, and everything. So tell us a little bit about and before Ron asks you all the technical questions, and Bill can chip in too and everything, tell us about the lowrider and the name, because I think it's pretty fascinating the way you guys came up with a name for this rod.
Okay. Yeah. Well, back in 1995, I kind of heard through the grapevine about some long-distance casting championships that were being held in Japan
Japan, okay.
In Japan, yeah. And they were using little small guides. So what we did was we made up some prototype rods using, actually at that time, they were fly rod guides, little small single-foot guides.
Mm-hmm.
And it changed dramatically the way the rod felt. Of course, you reduce weight. The smaller guides controlled the line, so you made longer casts. The line was closer to the blank, so the rod had a better feel, more sensitive. And when you reduced all that extra weight, the rod felt great, much better. So it was kind of a dramatic change, and the name came. My accountant, Jimmy Clunn, who's been with us for all these years, I was out there in the parking lot casting the rod, and I was trying to explain to Jimmy, how this line was riding real low in the guides. Mm-hmm. And he rides Harleys, so the lowrider Harley, and I went, click. I says, well, that'd be a good name for it.
Well, John, I have to tell you, and that kind of changed a lot of things that a lot of different rod companies did, and I guess imitation is the finest form of flattery there is. But not only that, as the lowrider came about and everything else, you signed on some great fishermen such as Jason Christie and Mike McClellan to help you further design some other rods and to fine-tune all of your rods. How important is it to get these professional anglers to help you design the kind of rods that you have?
Oh, I think it's tremendous. And, through all these years, we've been real close to all the expert fishermen, our guides, friends, and networking out. And so we fish ourselves. Mm-hmm. So we're very conscious of any little trend or how to do a better job, presenting a particular lure or style of fishing. And, for example, when the Carolina rig first came out, we made a Carolina rod. Right. And so that was very successel. Well, but today, we do a Jason Christie frog rod, and we did some Mike McClellan jerkbait rods and so on. So we've always wanted to make rods to do a special job.
Well, John, not only all of that, I'm using a Jason Christie 5/8 medium weight rod and a Mike McClellan 7/3 medium heavy. I'm pretty tough on my equipment, and everybody knows that. I mean, I go through the bushes. I'm pretty rough on my equipment. One of
I'm
the
glad
things
he's
I
saying
found
this now. We got this on the radio now.
It is not only lightweight, very sensitive, but awful well built, where it'll stand the punishment that all the pro anglers and weekenders like I am fishing. The technology, you guys have kept up with that too, and how hard is that to do?
Well, from day one, back when graphite rods first started,
right?
There was some breakage, and so.
And they're heavy.
We were very concerned. We didn't want our rods to get any kind of a bad reputation. So now it's going to be 25 years next year. But the very first rod, every one of those rods goes through our quality control here, which means they're flex tested, they're eyeballed, their reel seats are checked. Mm-hmm. Everything is, and if the rod's going to break, we'll probably break it right here before we send it on to the dealer.
That's pretty awesome.
And of course, the other, the really important good thing is that they're made in the USA. And the lowriders are made here, and Jason Christie rods are made here, and the Buku and the Mike McClellans. And so there's a lot of hands-on quality control and craftsmanship that So, which is very, very important and a good benefit for all your listeners.
Yeah, we're talking to John Beckwith. He's the founder of Falcon Rods out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. And John, I know it was pretty easy to come up with the name for the Lowrider 20, right?
Yeah.
I guess we're going to have a Lowrider 25 and 30 down the road, we hope, right?
Well, we'll have to think of something, that's for sure.
But you guys, I've always thought about this, and I've been around a long time, and it's almost like you build them one at a time. And I know that's a slogan for a certain boat. But you guys have been around enough, and you just solidified that when Ron asked you about that. You guys take pride in each and every one that you produce, right?
That's very correct. Yeah, we have our there was a very humbling, I guess. They did a national brand survey by a survey company called the not the Great Outdoors, Wide Open Spaces.
Yeah.
And anyway, we were the top outdoor brand here in Oklahoma. Of course, Ranger was the top outdoor brand in Arkansas, and so on. But so we felt really, really humbled and thankful that we've had all the customer support for all these years to win that award. So,
John, you also finished ICAST not too long ago down in Orlando. Were there any new products that you guys introduced at ICAST?
Well, yeah, at ICAST we introduced the Lowrider 20. Mm-hmm. Which was probably our number one, and I had a lot of great interest, and everybody really liked the new color, the new guide concept, and the new balance and look. And also we introduced a Cara Micro ST. We have a special proprietary type of resin system, which will make that Cara series lighter and faster.
Lighter? I can't imagine.
Wow.
Lighter. How much lighter is lighter?
But I have to tell you, and that's a good thing because, people are talking about how the lightweight and you can fish it all day. And it helps. I love them.
Well, I know you do, and I know John loves them too, or he wouldn't be making them and everything like that. John, hey, we thank you for being on with us this morning.
Yeah, thanks to all of you guys, and thanks to all your listeners. We appreciate their business.
Well, you got a lot of fans here, that's for sure, John, including us right in this booth right now. We'll stay in touch and have a great day. Okay, John?
Okay, thanks a lot, Larry.
All right, we'll talk to you later. All right, bye. Let's take another break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Right back on Sports 790.
And it's calling you and me.
Now back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome again back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this August the 23rd in hot Memphis, Tennessee on Sports 790. And we appreciate talking earlier with John Beckwith. He is the founder of Falcon Rods out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Now we're switching up to Minneapolis right now to keep our conversation rolling with Ron Wong and Bill Cooksey in the studio. Talking fishing with Bill Cullerton. He is the Senior Vice President of Sales for the one and only Bagley Bait Company. Good morning, Bill.
Hey, Larry, how are you?
Oh, we're doing great, and we love to talk fishing when the temperature today is supposed to be 100 in Memphis. So it's.
Oh, brother, that's a little warm.
Yeah,
and
I'll bet you. I'll tell you that.
I'll bet you have a Bagley bait we could use in that hot weather and catch those fish also.
Yeah, we sure do. Particularly if you're thinking hot weather, lakes and rivers and so on and so forth. Early morning, late evening, a bang lure would be a really good lure. The fish are not too shy about coming to the surface. And during the afternoon, when they're down deeper in the cooler water and at the break-offs, in our case, a diving bee would be a great bait because it gets down to, 16, 17 feet.
Well, one of the things about the Bagley lure, and Bill, I've been very familiar with them when Jim Bagley first introduced them. I guess it was back in 1972 or 73, and had the opportunity to meet Jim. And the first,
well, he was something. I've interviewed him.
Yeah, and the first commercially made balsa bait, and it was the colors and the paint schemes and the type of paints that he put on there that were so durable. And you guys have carried on that tradition today with those baits. And it's now however many years that is, back from the 70s.
That's a long time.
Yeah. I could give you a brief history that may make this relevant.
Yeah,
all right, great.
And I appreciate you guys all saying things about Jim, because he was a great man, a lot of fun, great personality, and
sure was. Yeah,
he knew fishing lures. I mean, he knew fishing lures, and that's the thing that attracted myself and Jarmo Rapala. We were initially partners when we bought into Bagley, and Bagley's a 60-year-old company, and we kind of feel like we're in the first year of the company, so to speak, right now.
Yeah.
Jarmo used to be the CEO of the Rapala Lure Company, and Rapala is a very famous brand, and his grandfather started that company.
Right.
Jarmo has since left that company. He and I have been friends for years and years. And we decided if something came on the market that was viable, we're going to go for it. And Bagley was available, so Jarmo and I initially bought the company. And the first thing we did, and you got to hand this to Jarmo, because he recognized what a great designer Jim Bagley was in making bass baits, and particularly making balsa wood bass baits. And he didn't want to, because he's our lure designer, he didn't want to change Jim's actions, because Jim's actions were really, really good. So first thing we did is we were looking for lures that were 30 and 40 years old that were really running, like banging lures and balsa bees. We were going in old-timers tackle boxes and saying, show us one that really, really works. And I'm serious. We did that, and we sent them all over to Jarmo, where he lives in Finland. He has a workshop there, and they got all the lip angles correct, the shapes correct, the weighting correct. Correct meaning how Jim was making them. And then we just put them into production following the right patterns. And right now the lures are running perfectly. We tank test every one because we're very cautious about quality. But the designs have the integrity of Jim Bagley in them, and that's what we really wanted to do.
Wow. And it really shows. But you said something there that a lot of lure companies don't do. You tank test every lure before you package it up. And that's important.
Sir. We do.
I mean, it takes time to do that, but at the end of the day, it's all about providing a quality lure, and that's what it is. ICAST was just held here a couple of months ago.
Right.
Did you guys come out with anything new that you want all of our listeners to hear about?
Thank you for asking. We did. We actually, a number of big things have happened with Bagley. One is a company, and two is new product coming out. But from a company point of view, Jarmo and I took the company to about as far as our resources could take it. Say it that way. You know how that goes.
Yes.
So we met a group from Minneapolis, led by a gentleman by the name of Don Foltstrand. And Don came in with a group of independently wealthy individuals who all, loved to hunt and fish, but shared the vision that we had. So they came in and bought in, and they gave us considerable resources. So Don is running all the fundamental business parts of it. Jarmo is doing all the lure design. I'm doing sales and marketing. So with that comes sourcing options all over the world. So Jarmo, being such a good lure guy, found a tremendous manufacturing facility for balsa wood in all places of Eastern Europe. Serbia.
Wow.
And we're working with this plant over there, and Jarmo and the owner of this plant have developed a process, a wood process, that I wish Jim Bagley was alive today to see this.
Yes.
Because he would absolutely love it, because we're going to be changing the game of how a wooden bait is being made.
Wow.
We have a process called, I'll try to paint the picture over the radio if we could do that.
Do it.
It's called HCM, so it's heat compression molding. So if you imagine making like a plastic bait, let's say you have two halves and you put your weights in, or you You do whatever you do, and you seal the lure up, and you have a bait.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing that with wood now. So if you imagine taking a balsa wood lure, never been done before, splitting it in half, then and putting it in a mold. In the mold, this is where it gets tricky. In the mold, you can change the shapes and caverns inside the bait. And what that does, it opens up a tremendous opportunity for us to weight the bait in all sorts of different ways, because we could put chambers in there that give us weighting options that don't exist if you drill and fill, which is done by all balsa wood lures, including us today.
Yeah,
so
right.
Now we have options of maybe 8 or 9 places to place a weight versus only 2. So that's a big deal. Plus, when it actually gets compressed, this mold comes together and makes the inside chamber. It also heats the outside, actually burns the outside of the wood a little bit. So when you pull it off, it's super smooth. So there's less base coats, less paints required. When you put less on a light balsa wood lure, you just make a more buoyant bait. So we're going to be able to weight it better, and we're actually going to improve the buoyancy of Bagley baits as we go forward. So everything's going. We're super excited about this.
In the crankbait line, that's really important to have the buoyancy there, because, you hit a rock, you hit a brush pile or something. If you just stop it for a second, 9 times out of 10, it's going to float back up off of it and in a natural way where a fish is going to hit it. So that's really important.
Well, and I believe a thinner layer of paint is also going to make your paint more durable in reality.
I think you know lures, because that's exactly right. Because, when you're making a bait, particularly when you base coat it, then paint it a few times, then lacquer it, and put a spray paint on top of it, you have to have a lot of patience to let everything dry. And sometimes, people don't have patience. They're rushing things through, so the less is certainly better. So the first 2 lures that are coming out with this process, one is called a balsa shad. Okay. And that is it comes in 3 different sizes. It's designed for casting and trolling, super deep diving bait. The 8 size, which is the biggest, right? The 3/8 ounce lure, that'll get down to, darn near 20 feet, which is really deep for a crankbait to get down to.
Yes, that's my ledge bait.
That's your ledge bait, yeah.
Yeah, trolls deep, so deep summertime fishing, that would be a real good option. And then another one's called a sunny bee. A sunny bee is kind of shaped like a little brim or a bluegill, and it has a shallow lip and a deep diving lip. And we're really excited about both those lures. So, but the process is what really turns us on, and everything in Bagley is going to go with that, from a honeybee to a balsa bee to a bangalore, everything.
Well, we're talking to Bill Cullerton. He's the Senior Vice President of Sales for Bagley Bait Company. And, of course, I'm a historian. I love to read. I've read so much and had a chance when I was an outdoor editor at the Memphis paper to do some things on Jim Bagley. And I know it would blow his mind right now after he bought the Dean Pork Rind Company in 1954 that 60 years later we're talking about baits like this. Bill, this is an amazing segment. And we really appreciate you taking time on this Saturday morning to visit with us, folks. You can go to BagleyBait.com. That's BAGLEY bait.com. Check it out. Go to my website, OLR-Outdoors.com. We'll have all this information posted on there about of course, as Ron knows, he's my technical man, and Bill's my fisherman man over here, and I'm just the guy I'm the guy that if I ever came back in life, I'd want to be the guy that names the lures. Okay, I love the sunny bee.
You need all the help we can get.
I need that. Well, we appreciate it again, Bill, and again, stay in touch. Tell everybody hello for us. I appreciate Wayne Carlson setting up this interview, and we'd love to talk to you again down the road. Okay, buddy?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Very nice talking to you.
All right, have a nice day. All right.
You betcha.
All right. Bill Cullerton of the Bagley Bait Company, and you guys know as we close out this segment, I know Bill's eyes lit up, and we'll see.
Hey, I heard Bangalore, and I hadn't thought about that bait in years, and I could have used one Sunday so bad.
I still use the Bangalore.
Absolutely, but
especially the one with the spinner in the back. Great topwater bait, or you can twitch it underneath the surface It's an amazing bait.
Yeah.
Well, I know my late uncle, that was my hero, and I've got some of his baits, and some of those are in there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so
They're really
I
good.
keep them and everything.
Those are foil finished baits, too.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
don't find that around anymore.
Well, that was pretty interesting with Bill Cullerton. All right, well, let's take a break. Justin Wooten is our show producer. We'll take a break and come right back, and it's almost dove hunting time.
Oh,
yeah,
All right.
Yes, sir.
Now we talk, and we're going to talk to Ron Regan. He is the executive director for the Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies. They just came out with a survey about dove hunters. It's kind of interesting to see these numbers and everything posted up there. So let's talk.
It is.
Let's talk dove hunting on Outdoors with Larry Ray on Sports 790.
New day's dawning, and it's calling you and me. We're the
Now back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports.
And it's calling you.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. We talk outdoors every Saturday morning here on Sports 790 in Memphis, Tennessee, and starting our 14th year on the air. And hey, you know, we've been talking a lot about fishing because Ron Wong's in the studio.
Yeah,
and Bill
but we're
Cooksey's
getting
in the
ready
studio.
to talk about one of my most favorite subjects.
Yeah, you love to eat them.
The start
yeah.
of hunting season.
Because that gets everybody in
I'm
the woods and off
excited.
the water.
I'm
I know
excited.
I'll miss a half day next weekend.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
miss a half
coming
day
up.
of fishing.
Well, coming up on September the
Yeah,
1st, it'll
Bill's
open.
Bill's a switch hitter.
Yeah,
That's right.
Well, coming up on September the 1st, but
Right.
our good friends at the Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies recently partnered with some other agencies, including the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Agency and the National Flyway Council and other ones, to come up with probably the most comprehensive dove hunter survey that I've seen in many years. They actually surveyed 12,000 dove hunters around the country. And some of the results are kind of interesting, and we're pleased to have on Outdoors with Larry Ray with us this morning Ron Regan. He is the executive director for the Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies. To talk a little bit about this survey. Good morning, Ron.
Hey, good morning. It's a pleasure to be on the line with you today. I have to say, I spent most of my professional career in the state of Vermont.
I know you did. Were you a catamount?
Yeah, that's right. Well, some people might have thought so. And I can't say I did much dove hunting up there, but even here in D.C., it certainly feels like fall is just around the corner. And were I in Vermont, we'd certainly be gearing up for, grouse hunting and woodcock hunting and squirrel hunting and all that good stuff. So I can feel your enthusiasm over the phone line today, and that's a good thing.
Well, Ron, tell us about the survey, how it developed, and maybe some of your comments about the results.
Yeah, well, I'll be glad to. Well, dove hunting is a big deal in this country. There's over 1 million dove hunters. They spend over 3 million days of field, and we have dove hunting seasons in 40 of the lower 48 states. And a number of years ago, the professional community decided we needed to know a bit better what dove hunters think and feel about the passion for their sport. And so, as you noted, the federal government and state agencies decided to partner and do the first ever national survey of dove hunters. And even though, lots of dove hunting states do their own surveys within their state borders, we've never had a comprehensive look at what dove hunters think and feel all across the country. So this group came together, designed a survey, randomly selected over 30,000 people to reach out to with the survey. 12,000 folks responded, and we are now seeing for the first time, some pretty cool information about dove hunters, what they think and feel. There's some specific stuff on lead ammo, and this will be information that will help managers, state and federal managers, do a better job of managing dove populations and dove hunting opportunity for the future.
And we're talking to Ron Regan. He's the executive director for the Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies. and you can go to www.fishwildlife.org to find out more things about the survey. We've got it posted on my website, OLR-Outdoors.com. And, Ron, I know that some of the information that you were able to obtain through this, the average dove hunter, typically, white male, 45 years of age and older, well-educated with higher than average income.
Yeah.
45.
That was an interesting finding. Bill, as you said it all with your little preamble there. Well-educated folks, higher than average income. These folks are people that have typically hunted doves for more than 20 years. Many of them, hunt throughout the season, and they travel 50 miles or more often to get to their favorite hunting spot, and they typically hunt on private land.
All right, Bill, you were getting ready
look,
to make
if you're lower than average income, you better be a good shot in a dove field, or you can't afford the ammo. And from what I've seen, most people need a pretty good income to buy the shells they shoot on opening day.
Well, and interestingly enough, when we ask some questions about lead ammo, most of the dove hunters, do in fact use lead ammo, and they indicated that if non-lead ammo became regulated or mandatory, cost, might be a reason why they might actually drop out of dove hunting. So they are paying attention to the cost of shells, that's for sure.
Well, and of course, a lot of us shoot smaller gauges at doves than we do at other game, and that has an impact. If you ask me the question on if it matters a lot, because I can't really get a good selection of non-toxic that is reasonable in a 28 or a 410.
Yeah, sure. Yep. And, a lot of folks will focus on some of the lead questions. I mean, this certainly was not an effort to regulate lead, but it was an effort to learn a little bit more while we were talking to dove hunters about what kind of ammo they use and what they know about the lead issue. And interestingly enough, even though folks like you and I that stay current with, the professional literature and industry literature and stuff in the sporting magazines, perhaps more so than the average hunter, we kind of just assume everybody knows this kind of stuff that we're talking about. And really what we found on the lead issue is that, 80% of dove hunters really don't know that much about the lead issue or either neutral about whether or not there is a problem to be dealt with there.
And again, we're talking to Ron Regan, the Executive Director for the Association of Fish and Wildlife Management, Fish and Wildlife Agency, And I know the survey also showed, Ron, that most dove hunters harvest, there's that word again, fewer than 30 birds per season and hunt on private land. Yep. And I'm assuming that most of those come on opening weekend.
Well, I would have, I suspect that's a good assumption. That's certainly the case with, a lot of hunting opportunity. That's when people are jazzed up.
It's a social event.
It's a social event. People, whether it's deer, ducks, geese, they're going to be out there on that first weekend. And, you have to assume that's when the biggest impact is on the harvest.
Well, you also have to look at the number of days hunted, and most of them aren't hunting 3, 4, 5 days. If I look at the number of dove hunters versus the number of days in the field, so very few dove hunters are really getting the opportunity legally to kill more than 30 birds.
Yeah, right.
Realistically, they aren't.
All the competition for time, which is impacting hunters and anglers on all fronts. And then if you're like me and you live in an urban area now, having grown up in rural Vermont, it's just not that easy, to get outside.
That's it. Yeah.
Access and get a field.
Access is it. I mean, because I know that, and then there's legal things that you got to make sure that you're prepared right out there on your field and things along that line. And I know that September the 1st, the opening day here, it's a social event at noon. And we all gather, and I've been doing it at the same place for 30 years, and it's a food event.
I'll be there for the food.
Yeah, Ron comes from the food.
44 years in the same spot for me.
Isn't that something?
40. That's the only reason I drive 50 miles to a dove shoot is that place I am going opening day.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I've I'm still, we're on the 23rd of August here, and I'm still waiting. Ernie Worley, call me. Are we dove hunting on September the 1st if you're listening today? Because I'm anxiously waiting for my call because I've been doing that for so many years. Ron, thank you, buddy, for taking time on this Saturday morning to visit with us. Again, folks, tell them, Ron, where they can find out information about your agencies.
Yeah, well, it would be at our website at www.fishandwildlife.org.
Just go to that, and we'll have it posted on OLR-Outdoors.com again. Thank you, Ron Regan, and we look forward to talking to you down the road again sometime, okay?
Good dove hunting and good eating on that opening day.
Thank you, Ron. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. And, just thinking about dove hunting gets me excited, so I appreciate that. And I want to, it is a social event.
Sure it is.
And it is a time, the right gun. I've used a 20 gauge. I've used a 12 gauge. It depends on what my arm feels like.
Right.
And I've been more selective over the years in what I shoot at. And I do see some 10 gauges out there, and I see some guys shooting at high birds.
Sure.
And so
I don't see many 10s in a dove field. But
I have seen 10s in a dove
wow.
field. Yeah, that's you can hear it too. It might not be in our field. It may be the field over, but it sounds like a 10.
Now, I have seen a black powder double in the dove field
a
couple of times.
Dave Gabbard hunts with a black powder. I think he does a double, too. I think he does. So that's a heavy rascal, too.
Yeah. But once you get swinging, you're going to follow through.
Yeah, I know it. And we're just hoping that it's not 100 degrees, but who cares? It's.
I just want the weather stable from now to opening day so the doves can get in the fields, find them, and stick. And not get run out by a cold front on the 31st.
No, I think maybe we've got a break. This might be the real thing that helps the doves is we got strings of hot weather, and that brings the doves in. And I know I'm seeing lots of doves where my wife has a garden. I'm not going to tell you where it is, but
I know where it's at.
You know where it is, and of course Ron loves to wrap them in bacon and
it's hard to mess up a dove.
Yeah, it really is.
The old Italian dressing, wrap them in bacon, little cream cheese, you really can't miss.
Well,
yeah, you can grill them.
We almost made it an hour without talking about food on this show, but
we've got to talk about.
We might get the Ron Wong recipe on how to cook doves. I know
Bill's got some.
Bill's got a real good recipe. He could put it on there.
We throw out a lot of dove recipes,
don't you? Yeah,
but so many of them come back to bacon.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? What he
bacon makes everything good.
Man,
now, prosciutto's pretty good on the grill on them too.
Yeah,
bacon.
I like that.
Hey,
look, I'm going to be looking forward to seeing recipes online at the Mid-South Hunting and Fishing.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, this issue now won't be online yet, but Lasath is going to have a bacon fried squirrel recipe.
I do like
bacon.
Yeah,
you
I think he might have mentioned that on last week's show. We had him on the show.
Did you?
Yeah. I had Scott on the show. It was last week, a week before. I can't know.
Week before, I think.
I think it was because we got into the. Let me ask you before we get off this real quickly. The average age 45 on that survey.
That makes sense.
We're close.
That's close. Yeah, way close. Yeah, for some people.
Okay.
Cooksey's a young guy in this.
Yeah, he is.
I'm 2 years
He's
off,
a baby.
and my son offsets me. So.
Oh man, he offsets me. All right, let's take a break, Justin. We'll be right back. Special guest we're going to try to hook up for on Outdoors with Larry Ray on here on Sports 790.
Watch the sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me.
Now back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, and we're still trying to hook up with Craig Morgan. We're supposed to talk to Craig, but
he's a
busy man with all he's got going on. And I know this next guy's a busy man also because they're putting out some lures that are very alluring, so to speak.
He just got back from the Forest Wood Cup,
just like you. He just back in San Antonio. I assume that's where. So why don't you introduce the next guest in?
Well, there are a lot of lures on the market, a lot of crankbaits on the market. There are a lot of good crankbaits on the market, but there's only one crankbait on the market that has sound technology, and golly, it really works. I mean, how well does it work? And you know what's so good? we have as our next guest the guy that invented and the creator of sound technology for Livingston Lures, Robert Castaneda. Robert, how are you this morning?
Hi, Ron. It's a pleasure to be on your show. It was a beautiful Saturday morning. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, we want to find out about sound technology. That's all Ron's been talking about, since he got back from Lake Murray, and we posted some information
out at
Robert,
OLR-Outdoors.com.
LROutdoors.com. So you guys just go ahead and Cooksey, you jump in when you want to, and I'll just listen. All right?
Thanks, Larry. Thank you, Larry.
Robert, you guys started out with a single sound technology, and here at ICAST 2014, you guys introduced a new bait, and of course I had a chance to play with it and videotape some stuff with your new sound technology. Tell all of our listeners about the new sound technology there at Livingston Lures.
Sure, Ron, I'll be happy to. So we found, due to the huge success and overall industry acceptance of our EBS, electronic bait fish sound technology, in our first series, our Pro Series lures that have the original EBS sound of injured bait fish while it hits the water. Well, I've been working on the technology to further it, and now we debuted at ICAST, as you just mentioned, our new multi-touch technology, which now you're able to shuffle through 3 different sounds, and then there's a 4th mode. So there is now the lure. Now you can actually, by holding the lure in your hand and touching the tie-eye and the first hook hanger, you can go into shuffle mode, and it'll shuffle through. It'll start with the injured bait sound first, and then after the injured bait sound, it will shuffle through to EBS shad, a shad sound.
Yeah.
And then EBS crawfish, with the crawfish snapping its claws and tail, you hear the snapping sound.
Amazing.
And then the 4th mode is silence, or stealth mode. So if there's that time that's still a crankbait bite, but no sound is needed, then you can actually shut off all the sound and run it silent. So once you like a sound, you just let go of the tie-eye and the first hook hanger ring, let go, and it locks you in that mode.
All right, Bill Cooksey, you've been listening to this.
So this is audible to the person running the lure when he's got it in hand. He can actually hear what the sound is. And
oh, yeah.
Cool.
Just
that's
like
cool.
You would in nature, when you would hold the shad, or you'd hold a crawfish and you'd hear the claws snapping and the tail snapping, just like you would in nature. That's
is that not cool?
I'd flinch.
You would flinch. Well, that's what Robert wants the fish to do, flinch,
It's pretty amazing that you can hold it up and actually hear these different sounds. And, I had the opportunity to listen to them. And I've had an opportunity to fish these baits, and they're really, really excellent baits. And, of course, Livingston Lures, Robert, is you guys sponsor a couple of anglers that are now known worldwide. Number one is Randy Howell, who won the Bassmaster Classic on his own color of crankbait, right?
Yes. Randy Howell, we're very fortunate and blessed to have him on our team. He's a great role model, a great ambassador of the sport. Randy, we've been working closely with Randy to design part of our new Team Livingston series crankbaits that we're coming out 12 new body styles for 2015.
Wow.
And one of those is it's now called the Howler Dream Master.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Say that again. It's going to be called the what now?
Sure. It's called the Howler Dream Master Classic. And it's a play on words, but it's after Randy Howell. Randy Howell named it, and the Dream Master Classic, because I was literally in my hotel room in Birmingham, Alabama, 2 days prior to the Classic. I was gluing and sealing the color of crawfish that he wanted, with an orange side and an orange belly, and I handed it to him a day before the Classic. I said, Randy, here's that crawfish crank you wanted. And he said, thanks, hopefully I'll get a chance to use it. And sure enough, the last day, the final day,
that's where he wanted it.
Classic.
Oh,
yes,
that's a true story?
Yes.
Yes.
That sounds like something you guys, that's amazing.
And Robert, you have another angler Angler of the Year for the FLW Tour, Andy Morgan.
Yeah.
Wow, what a fisherman.
What a fence. The GOAT, greatest of all time. We're honored to have the GOAT, Andy Morgan, as part of our pro staff team on the FLW. He's a fantastic individual, 2-time Angler of the Year. Worked closely with me on the new Pop R that we're coming out with. It's called Walk-In Pop 77.
Now, say it.
Pop 77. It's got the multi-touch technology in it. And it's like the old P70. It's the way it is. It's that real popular action where it spits a ton of water, and you can sit there and pop it it's in one spot for 14, 15 times, and it won't move. It'll just sit there and pop like you would want a popper to do. You can flip it into a place where you can't normally fish, but you can just let it sit there and make that multi-touch, the multiple sounds to try to catch fish. And so it's a really fantastic bait.
Bill, that sounds like your type of thing there on the Tennessee River.
Absolutely.
Robert, we have in studio this morning who's always here on this Saturday morning, Bill Cooksey. He's now the new editor for the Mid-South Hunting and Fishing News magazine. And I'm going to twist his arm and get him to talk a little bit about Livingston Lures in his magazine.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you, Bill.
But I have to tell you, so what are some of the other baits you guys are coming out with?
Wow. Well, let me tell you, we are so excited. It's been 18 months in the making. We've seen Livingston Lures line of crankbaits and topwaters and jerkbaits. We have a new jerkbait called the Jerkmaster 121 that Hank Cherry, Rookie of the Year, and All-Star winner, helped design. Actually, he totally designed it. I put in the technology inside, but I collaborated with him. And we just tested it at the FLW Cup. We got Jacob Prosnick, one of our other pros, got up on the fish tank and was testing the Jerkmaster 121, and the bass went crazy. Oh, no wonder Hank Cherry fishes with the jerkbait year-round. I realize it now because it's that long type A minnow type of shape, and it looks like a lot of the shad or a lot of the bait fish that bass are used to foraging on in the morning. And then you've got the new sounds in it, so it's really a superb jerkbait. It's definitely one that I believe everyone's going to have in their tackle box. We got 2 new topwaters. We have what we call the Walking Boss.
Oh, I love these names. I love these names. Yeah, I love these names. That's what I want to be. I want to be a bait namer. Well, in my second life and everything. So, hey, we're talking to Robert Castaneda from the Livingston Lures out of San Antonio, Texas, here on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and I appreciate Ron hooking this up, and just keep going, buddy. Technology is amazing. If my good friend Homer Circle was still around, though, Uncle Homer, who was my legend outdoor writer for many, many years, if he knew what was coming to fishing right now, if you're talking about technology, Livingston Lures it's at the top of the technology list.
It really is, and I encourage all of our listeners to go out to OLR-Outdoors.com, check out this video that I did with Robert.
Yeah, it's good.
In the Livingston Lure booth there at the Forest Wood Cup, and I actually got my camera up close enough to a prototype and a mock-up of the bait itself, and actually hear those sounds. And Robert, we're going to depend on you to keep us up to date with things that you guys come out with, the new stuff, so we can talk about it here on the radio show.
I sure will, Ron and Larry. And let me tell you, I just want to give you a little glimpse of what I'm already working on. Now that the multi-touch chip is done for 2016, or for ICAST 2015, I'll be debuting what we're going to come out with in 2016 and 17. It's going to be the world's first lure in the history of lures making, the first lure that you'll be able to pair with your phone and shuffle sounds through your phone. And I'm just gonna leave it there for now, okay? And then I'll get into detail as we progress.
Oh, that's the way to end a segment right there.
I need a new phone battery.
Ron, you're drooling over there, Ron. Would you try to get that off of you right there and everything?
Robert, if somebody wants more information about Livingston Lures, where do they go?
Absolutely, Ron. Just go to www.livingstonlures.com for all the information, or check out our Facebook, Livingston Lures Facebook.com/Livingston Lures, Ron.
All right, buddy. Thank you for being with us. Have a great day, and we'll definitely stay in touch with you. Anything we can do up here in Memphis, Tennessee, you let us know. Okay, Robert?
Thank you so much, Larry. It's an honor to be on your show. Thank you again. I'm more than happy to do it anytime. Reach out anytime. Thank you.
Will do, buddy. Have a great day.
All right, you too.
All right, let's take a break. Come right back and close up this segment. Still hadn't hooked up with Craig Morgan. I guess we may have to get Cooksey to sing for us. We'll try to try that and everything.
Bill's a singer.
All right. Y'all stay tuned.
No, stay tuned for this on Outdoors with Larry Ray on Sports 790.
Watch the sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me.
Now back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports.
And it's calling you.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we close out today's show, the final segment, and we'll try to reschedule Craig Morgan. We're not sure exactly what happened, but
he's a busy
man,
guy.
and looking forward to it.
That's okay. This time of year in the Mid-South with September coming, if you're an outdoorsman and you aren't excited about something,
that's right. Yeah,
you need to go to the doctor and get a checkup.
Well, I'm excited
because it's all good right now. It's transition time.
I am excited that hunting season is coming on. I can't wait.
Well, it really starts today. The squirrel season starts today.
And I'm missing it.
In Tennessee, today's opening day. Well, you can go when it cools off later on. Yeah, go in the afternoon.
Well, we're heading up to the lake, so I'll fish for a while, and then I might squirrel hunt about dark. But if not, I'll get them in the morning before we go out and
Bill,
fish.
you know what? If you get some squirrels, give me a call, and call Larry too. I don't want him to feel left out. And
I like squirrels,
and we're going to let you cook them for us.
I'll tell you what. I'll kill them and cook them. You clean them, and then we'll all eat them.
I don't know how.
Well, we can rectify that.
We can rectify that. You can go online to howtocleanasquirrel.com. I guarantee there's probably something out there.
There are a bunch of them. There are a bunch of them.
You know what I tell everybody is that Google needs to be your best friend, because if Google doesn't know, you don't need to know.
You don't need to know.
Hey, I learned. I've been skinning squirrels for over 40 years now, and Google taught me how to do it better.
I mean, it's amazing.
And you can send those squirrel tails to MEPS.
That's right.
In Antigua, Wisconsin.
Really?
Yes, and
they still take them.
They still take them, and I'll try to get the MEPS guy on here, because they still they pay for it, and they use them to make fly ties.
You can either get baits or get paid for them.
Yeah,
I remember correctly.
Yes, that's right. And so we'll talk.
That's amazing.
So today, a lot of you folks, you may already be in the woods, or you're thinking about it.
We got squirrels. We've got doves. We have wood duck and teal
coming up.
Tennessee gets that extra teal days this year.
When does that open up?
Well, it depends on the state, but about the second week of September on average is when it opens up.
And we got some extended bag limits on teal, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. We have the same bag limit as the rest of the Mississippi Flyway now.
And, of course, the commission met yesterday. We'll have all the results of the Tennessee whatever it's called now, Game and Fish Commission. I'm not really for sure. A while, and Bill Cox will always correct me on this, but we'll have all the results from the commission meeting posted on LROutdoors.com, and then we'll have that on next week's show. And speaking of next week's show, we'll have Gene Smith and the one and only. We are the only radio show, the only website that has its own poet laureate. And that's Charlie Covington will be on next week's show, and he has written another poem that I can't wait to debut on next week's show. But not only that, but we have, and we're really privileged to have, the Olympic gold medalist shotgunner Kim Rohde will be on next week's show, and I guarantee Kim will be on the show. Okay? Knowing Kim, she's already solidified it, and she'll be on next week's show, because she's going to be talking about Scholastic Shooting Sports Foundation, because she's the new honorary fundraising chairperson for 2014-15, and that's the one and only Kim Rohde, Olympic gold medalist, shotgunner, and she's going to be on next week's show. And then we're going to talk to Tom Bingham. He's the director of marketing and certified mechanic at Gold Eagle Company. We're going to talk about outdoor marine products to keep your boat running smooth. How about that? Don't you want your boat to run smooth?
Always.
And your motor to work right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what a combination.
That's going to be awesome.
It gets really expensive when it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
And so
I have one in the shop now myself.
Well, Tom's going to be on next week's show. If we're trying to work it out with him. Shows you how to get maximum performance from your outdoor power equipment. And then Kim Rohde, of course. And I'm always look forward to talking to Kim on next week's show. So I hope everything's going all right. And I'm just now getting a message from Cindy Hunt from Craig Morgan on my phone here. Technology is amazing.
Hey, don't you love it?
I love it. I love it when I can find out what happened to something.
And you know, Larry, we're all happy for you to get on the technology bandwagon.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay on the technology bandwagon, but
I remember when you had the little flip phone, and you didn't want to get rid of it.
Yeah. Well, I want to also we want to send out our condolence again to the family of Guy Trebo.
Absolutely, prayers.
And the Trebo family for the recent loss of Guy's mom, Gertie. She was the longest-serving survivor of the St. Jude Golf Classic. Of course, her late husband, Joe, was the head man out there from everything. And it just we really appreciate Joe, the Trebo family and what they have done. And Guy, it was a wonderful ceremony that we had, and I appreciate that Guy Trebo. So anyway, next week's show, Kim Rohde, and as Bill just said, lots going on right now. And
early Canadas.
Oh, I forgot about
deer.
Yeah, resident Canada goose season.
Bass
right?
are moving shallow. Crappie are thinking about it.
All right.
Man, it's good out there, y'all.
Life is good in the outdoors.
And what else starts? Football time.
Yes,
you got your shirt. Look what he's got on.
I'm ready for the 31st with USU coming in to Knoxville.
Ron's ready for next
Ron's
Thursday.
ready for BYU next Thursday.
5 days
next Thursday,
away.
and my little team has to go to someplace called Auburn to play its
Have
first
fun.
game. Have fun.
Have a good time with that.
Have fun on the plains in Auburn.
That's right.
Kick off in the SEC.
Yeah.
Love it.
And I've watched the SEC Network. Had a great story last night on Conridge Holloway that I watched.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
That is
entire
a great
1 hour
story.
special that I got to see of Conridge Holloway.
Bill,
and
you
his
taped
day,
it, right?
I've seen it.
Oh, yeah, but you can see it again.
That's right.
Well, I'm sure this was a repeat, but Conridge Holloway, number 7 for Tennessee, and Bill Battle recruited him, and it was a real. We're getting off to something here.
Bear Bryant recruited him.
Well, George Wallace even
but
called
then
him.
he said,
Did you know that?
But then he said, "Go to Tennessee." Bryant changed his mind and said, "Go to Tennessee."
He wasn't going to be a quarterback.
That's right.
We're getting off to something, but we love
Great
to talk
story.
football, and
hey, it's that time of year.
that's what I'm saying.
Who can't be
It's
happy
in
right
the
now?
air.
If you can't be
It
excited
is
right
in the
now,
air.
what can happen to you and everything like that? So anyway, you guys, thank y'all for being with us. Ron Wong, thank you for
everything.
Bill
and,
Cooksey,
it's
congratulations, the new managing editor of the Mid-South Hunting and Fishing News. So if you've got any complaints,
Send them
Call
my
Bill.
way.
send them to
By
Bill.
the way,
I
Bill,
want to hear from you.
Bill, I look forward to really working with you on that. I'm excited.
Oh,
I'm really excited.
we have a bunch of ideas for you,
I
Ron.
know you do.
Well, he's not busy, He doesn't. He's only got 7 charities, and
The great thing about Ron, though, is he is everywhere and seeing everything.
but there's 3 of them. I told you
I know
there's
it.
3 Ron Wongs.
It's
over
fun.
there.
It's
Yeah,
good.
There he is. And Justin, thank you, Justin Wooten, for taking care of us. Skip
He does a
Reynolds
good job.
came in there and bailed us out, but Justin is our new show producer. Looking forward to working with Justin. I don't know for the next 13 years or not, but we'll see how it goes with him. A young man from New Orleans with roots down in where I love to go eat and visit folks down there and everything. So this is Larry Ray. Remind you I do each and every week that it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And God bless the USA.
Watch the sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling